This is Higher Maths, it's practice paper F. We're looking at question 6 in the calculator paper. Right, we have to express 4 cos x minus 7 sin x in the form of k sin x minus a, where k is greater than 0 and we've got a lying in between 0 and 360, not including 360 itself. Right, let's go ahead and work this one out. So first of all, just write down the equation we're working with. So it's 4 cosine x minus 7 sin x, and what we're going to do is we're going to make that equal to k sine and it's x minus a. Okay, working in degrees. Right, what I'll do first of all is I'm going to expand this part out here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to use the formula list for that, and in the formula list the one I'm going to use is the sine minus there. So it'll be sine a minus b, and I'll just use the expansion from there. Right, so I'll keep the k in both sides, so I've got k sine a, sorry. I've got the minus sign is going to stay where it is, and it's k cosine x sine a. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down this part here, and I'm going to compare it. But because I've got sine x here and cosine x there, I'm going to swap them around. So that's minus 7 sine x I'm going to write first. So minus 7 sine x, and I've got plus 4 cosine x. Right, when I compare them, what I'm looking at is I'm going to include the signs, okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel out that one there and that one there, the cosine x, and I'll cancel out the sine x. And what I can say is that minus 4 sine a equals 4, so what I must have here is that k sine a must equal minus 4, okay? And here I've got k cosine a equals minus 7, so k cosine a equals minus 7. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find out whereabouts my solution is going to lie, in which quadrant. And what I'm going to be looking at is sine a here is negative, so sine is positive here and here, so it's negative here and here. Cosine is positive there and there, so it must be negative here and here. So I'm looking for a third quadrant angle to work this one out. So if I'm looking for a third quadrant angle, I'm going to work out the first quadrant, so I'll work out the acute angle. And I know that sine over cosine is going to be equal to tan, so I know that tan A is going to be equal to, and I've got the 4, I'm going to just use the positive numbers, the 4 over 7, okay? And A is going to be equal to the inverse tan of 4 over 7, and what that should get me out is 29.7 degrees. Once I've got that, I can then work out my third quadrant angle. So the third quadrant angle, and A is going to then be equal to 180, and it's going to be plus the angle that I worked out as the acute angle. So 180 plus the 29.7 degrees will give me an answer of 209.7 degrees. So that's the angle that I'm looking for. So A is 209.7. The value of K we're going to work out by taking the square root of minus 4 squared plus minus 7 squared. What we'll get there is we've got 16 plus 49, so in there I've got the square root of, and that's going to be 65 when I gather them together, 65. So what I can say is, so that what I started with, 4 cosine x minus 7 sin x is going to be equal to, in this form here, it's going to be root 65, and it's going to be a sine x minus, and it'll be the angle that I worked out here. So that's part A complete. Moving on to part B, what we're going to do is we're going to solve 4 cosine x is equal to 7 sin x plus 3. So let's start with that. Okay, so 4 cosine x is equal to 7 sin x plus 3. Right, what I'll do is I'll gather the sine x over onto the left hand side, and what that should give me is the same as this part here. Once I've got that, I'll substitute that in its place and I'll be able to solve things from there. Right, so I've got 4 cosine x minus 7 sine x is equal to 3. Right, now I'm going to replace it with what I've worked out in part A, so that would be root 65 sine x minus 209.7 degrees, and that equals 3. From there, I'll divide by root 65 on the right hand side, which allows me to leave sine of the angle on its own. So that's 3 over root 65. Okay, from there what I'll do is I'll try and find out where my angles are going to lie. So again I'm going to look at another CAS table. So I've got all sine tan cos. I know that sine is positive, so sine is positive in the first quadrant and in the second quadrant, so that's where the solutions I'm going to be finding will be lying. So let's work out the acute angle first of all. So my acute angle is going to be, we'll work out x minus 209.7 is equal to the inverse sine of 3 over root 65. From there what I've got is, I've got x minus 209.7 is going to be equal to 21.8 degrees. Okay. So at this level here, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to be working out my second quadrant solution. So what I'll be looking for here is the second quadrant solution. And what I'll get from this is I'm going to start with x minus 209.7. So x minus 209.7 is going to be equal to, and to work out the second quadrant, it will be 180 minus the angle I worked out as the acute angle, which is 21.8 degrees. Okay. Back over to the acute angle side. What I'll do is I'll bring the 209 over to the right hand side and I'll be adding that on. So what I'll get from there is, I'll get x is going to now be equal to 231.5 degrees. Over on the second quadrant, what we've got here is x is going to be equal to 180 subtracting 21.8 and then adding to that 209.7, that gives me 367.9 degrees, and that there is out of range. The range that I've been interested in is up to 360 degrees, but if I subtract 360 degrees from that, so what I could do is I could say that let's say that x is equal to 367.9, subtract 360 degrees, and all I'm trying to do is to bring a value into range, and that should give me 7.9 degrees. And that's within the range that I've been given in the initial question. So from here, what I can say is that the solution is, and what we've got is x is equal to, so 7.9 degrees, and the other value is 231.5 degrees. That's the question complete. So let's have a look and see how we could mark this question here. So we're going to get 4 marks for part A. Okay, so let's go for 1 mark for getting this part here. We'll go for another mark for getting, let's go for this part here. Okay, making sure that you state the k sine A and the k cos A, and here also make sure the k's are involved in this here. What I've got here is I'll get a mark for this one here, and at this stage here, let's go for getting the angle. So it's a 209.7 degree angle, so let's go for, I'll go for that mark there, okay, for writing it out in that form. So that's 4 marks so far. 4 marks for the next part of the question. So first thing that I'll get is for, let's go for substituting this part here in place of the 4 cosine x minus 7 sine x. I'll then get another mark. Let's go for, let's see, right, we'll go for a mark for getting this angle here, and how about a mark for getting, let's see, right, final mark anyway we'll get for this one here. We've got one more mark to give, and let's go for, I'll give a mark for getting this answer here. Okay, so from there we need to recalculate that by taking 360 away and getting the final answer there. So what we've got there is we've got 8 marks in total to be gained, so that's the question complete.